For decades, Native American children were forcibly removed from their homes and families and sent to boarding schools where only English was spoken and their own languages were forbidden. But 40 years ago, the Akwesasne Mohawk tribe in northern New York formed the Akwesasne Freedom School, where Mohawk children could learn their native language and culture. Jenna Flanagan from the PBS NewsHour shows us.
Language. It's defined as a method of communication used by a community or country. Sometimes written, but almost always spoken, the commonality bonds individuals within a group and informs its overall culture. As of today, there are roughly 6,500 languages spoken worldwide, with nearly 30% having fewer than 1,000 native speakers, putting them in a very real danger of going extinct. So how does a community ensure that their language lives on in future generations? You start with the children.
The language gives us our identity. It teaches us the culture, it teaches us how to be, it teaches us how to be grateful. And without that, who are we?
The Mohawk are working hard to not only maintain their language, but ensure it has a future with its language immersion school.
It's a completely different learning experience. I mean, over time, we had to evolve.
The Freedom School was founded in 1979 after decades of Mohawk children being forcibly removed from their families and native lands to attend boarding schools run by priests, where English was mandatory and the Mohawk language forbidden, effectively putting up a barrier between the people and their culture. Freedom School Level 4 teacher Dohone Alakte, or as he's known by his English name, Levi Hearn, explains the long-term cultural effect.
Most of the families in this community aren't traditional because of what had happened with boarding schools and different types of assimilation with like the Jesuits, even in the 1700s.
Elvira says she remembers her family members struggling with the separation.
My sister actually went to a residential school and my uncle, and they would be there all year, come home if once a year. But what I know with that is that they were not allowed to speak the language. They were punished. My sister doesn't know the culture at all. She still knows the language. She gets stuck. So it has had a lasting impact. Like there's maybe people my age and maybe a little older. We didn't have that nurturing from our parents because they didn't know how to nurture us or show us love. We knew they loved us, but oh God. But it was hard for them to show us.
The boarding school separations left a lasting impact on the family. However, Elvira was too young to be taken to boarding school, so she learned to speak Mohawk at home.
That's all I heard growing up. But then eventually even that part got lost.
And it's that same natural way that guides the Freedom School.
We actually started at the age of 1, where they can go into our language nest. Because a long time ago, this was their first language. Not all parents can speak the language, so they're not hearing it until they enter school.
And the focus is on developing conversational skills over compulsory.
I think they really should try to learn it with another speaker, with an elder.
The school encompasses a small campus of 3 buildings, but it's not structured like an American public school. The kids aren't regulated by grade, but rather their Mohawk language ability level. So a child at level 2 isn't necessarily a second grader, but rather a kid whose conversational skills are still developing. And that child can be any age. Throughout the school, the kids are encouraged to help one another in their language development. And in some classrooms, absolutely no English is spoken at all. Gana Laktas, or as she's known by her English name, Tara Skitters, is the school's office manager. She handles admissions, budgeting, hiring, and ensuring the school meets its overall mission. And part of that is creating a familial atmosphere for the kids.
So it's a very small percentage of people that come here. The families that want their kids here, a lot of them are traditional, who, you know, follow the Longhouse and the Longhouse traditions. I think our overall values are more the concentration, respect, and taking care of the earth and being kind to one another.
42 families comprising of 71 kids currently attend the Freedom School, and to help immerse them into the culture of the Longhouse traditions, each day starts with a community social. It's an important part of the Longhouse tradition, which focuses on being grateful for the gifts the earth gives and how they aid people in life. They participate in several morning songs, or stomps. Songs about hunting or gathering are performed in a ceremonial way. Tara says one of the biggest worries that parents have is if all this Mohawk immersion will limit their child's ability to learn English and matriculate into one of the nearby public high schools.
The reality is English is everywhere. They're gonna learn it. I tell parents all the time, don't stress about it. If your child is ready to learn English, teach them at home. Don't worry about it, they'll get it. But once they leave here, where are they gonna learn the Mohawk language?
In all, Tara says the mission is to ensure the survival of the Mohawk culture and language.
You know, I want people to know that we're not extinct. You know, people think that an Indian is a certain way or that we all are the same, and we're not. There's so many different nations, different clothes, different cultures, different songs, everything is different. And, you know, we have to work really hard to maintain those things.